I don't want to set the world on fire.
I'm Chris, and with you here today.
Welcome to the Foally of Man. We're standing.
Yes, we're standing.
Yeah, that's why we got that hot energy. We're not going to be all Logie just, I know, laying all over the place. And guess what? We don't sound like shit. And I know we don't sound like shit because we tested the audio before we started. Look, see? It's set to the correct input. It's set to the correct input. Welcome back to the Foally of Man. Chris is a Brony, and I am not. And, of course, not just that. You're Chris, and I'm Robert. Or am I Chris and you're Robert?
And I'm a Brony, and he's not. So
basically, the whole crux of the show, if you're joining us for the first time, is Chris and I go through the fan fiction, Fallout Equestria. You can grab a copy over there. Here, he'll step out of frame, and I'll just keep everything going a little bit. We are covering...
Stage
yes. We're covering the fan fiction Fallout Equestria by kkat. And the crux of the show is we go chapter by chapter, have a little bit of fun along the way, and summarize it and give points of view. Really, it's my point of view. You give your point of view, but you're deeply in. I get it, Vanna White. All right, put the fucking book away.
Oh, it's sad. Didn't she die? I mean, if not, then she will.
No, they've pumped her full of enough formaldehyde. She'll be on air for the next 50 years. It's like a linen in his tomb. So, anyways, in this week, we cover chapter 32.
Mm-hmm.
And in summary, it's a great chapter where not a lot happens.
It's a dialogue-heavy chapter.
Yeah, I know.
It goes over a lot of interpersonal relationships. It's one of those chapters that needs to happen to flesh out your connection with the characters and with the world space.
Yeah. So essentially, right off the bat, Pip is still kind of reeling from not having all of her memories, but she realizes that to fight the goddess, she has to... She can't know everything that she's planned to do.
But she's already snuck in and saw the first one.
Right, and then Homage is like, I'm very, very disappointed in you.
Why did you do this? I knew you would do it.
I knew you would do it. You even told me you were likely to do it.
You told you that you would do it.
You told you that you would do it, and you still did it. And you know what? I'm going to get over this, but get out of my face.
Yeah, I
get out of my fucking room.
Some
time. And it's not even that I'm really angry at you. It's just you need to be punished.
Mm-hmm.
And of course,
got to happen.
And of course, little Pip is like, well, couldn't I just get a spanking and be done with it? And she's like, oh
no,
we'll save that for tomorrow night. And Pip's like,
as a reward. And she's like,
a reward?
Spanking is a reward.
Oh, Jesus. There's a whole lot of that in this chapter because the next step is little Pip, for whatever reason,
it's stuck in her own mind. Oh, goodness, what's going on?
Oh, this door's locked. Here, let me open this up, and walks right in on Calamity and Velvet Remedy during the horizontal monster mash.
Yeah.
As it's described, they're laying in bed intertwined.
Thrusting.
Which
doing...
You know what? I'm somewhat familiar with horse anatomy. How?
I don't think it would be impossible to do missionary with horses.
Yeah. In a bed?
Well,
in a bed.
They're ponies. It's obviously a bed shaped for ponies.
So what, like you... Is it like a bed you step into with your feet?
No. No, I mean, it's just a bed. Just one of them is up on its back and the other one is down on top of it.
All right.
We are going to have to
You know what? I need a diagram.
Okay, I'm gonna give you all like a big realization here. Robert here's a really big prude, and don't describe to him that anything outside of missionary exists, or he gets very confused.
First of all, how dare you? Second of all, I don't need that graphic imagery in my head. I already have plenty of it from the book.
I'm sure we could find... You say diagram, I'm sure we could find tons of images.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm dying for somebody to do a crudely drawn crayon depiction of something from the story.
Oh, no. Well, actually, that does exist. That does exist, but it's complicated.
Fallout Equestria, as illustrated by 3-year-olds.
Puppy Smiles. There was a blog done by somebody who kind of RP'd as one of the characters from the side story. And she would do, or he or she, they would do like crayon drawings of happenings from the thing, but like from the perspective of a young child. Obviously not the horizontal monster mash.
Right.
Obviously.
The beast with two backs.
The beast with two
backs of two beasts. Something to that effect.
Yes.
But yes, so actually you'll find this interesting. I was amongst a random group of friends last night, and one of them asked.
You friends?
Yes, I know, right? Shocking color, yeah. So they asked if I was familiar with Two Snacks. And of course I'm familiar with Two Snacks because of you son of a bitch. Yes, I'm very familiar with Two Snacks.
Implying you don't love every second of
No,
it.
I do. But it's like my life has changed and the debate is still there whether it's for the better.
Like the time, like there was the thing where he actually went to visit two best friends.
Oh, he did?
He did. And there's a clip of Matt going like, yeah, I can't believe this. Oh, it's Two Snacks. And he turns and it's a guy with a horse head. Because Two Snacks doesn't show himself, but it's actually him with a horse head mask on.
Of course it is.
But we love Two Snacks. However, Two Snacks, how dare you not insert any Fallout Equestria reference into the Fallout 4 gameplay, you monster.
Speaking of Matt and Pat, they're doing a KOTOR review now.
Interesting.
Which, I love that game.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have to
it's fantastic.
I have to do a potential playthrough of that at some point. So, moving on. Anyways, walks in on her friends, pelvic thrusting their love for each other, and realizes that she has not been seen yet. They have not realized that she's there.
She just realized what's going on, so she just like Homer in the bushes,
disappearing into the background. Yeah. Well, and what's great is that they don't realize she's there until the click of the door behind her.
What was that? I thought they locked the door.
Little Pip! It's such a sitcom moment. Little Pip!
Bum, 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 bum.
I gotta run. I gotta hide. Gotta go somewhere. Oh, jeez. And of course, she's trying to find anywhere to be. And then as she runs by, she hears Zenith essentially saying,
doomed.
You're not gonna get away with it.
You're doomed.
Yeah, and then she tries to get into Homage's room. And she's like, shit, I can't be in here. Where do I go?
Oh, by the way, sorry, I'm gonna have to sleep with you because my friends are doing it and I found them.
Yeah. Well, and what's so funny is that then she hides, and then Calamity and Velvet come into the area and still have a very private conversation with her in hiding.
I will say, very interesting move on ktat's part, where she managed to do a complete and total two-partner conversation that's not related to the main character in a believable way.
Yeah.
This is something that she actually mentioned was very difficult, was trying to expand a lot of the world space from the perspective of the main character.
Mm-hmm.
I remember reading a side story where the point of view started out being from the point of view of the main character, and then would do like offshoots to like third-person perspective of events happening elsewhere in the world, and it's awful. It's awful writing. Don't ever do that. It would be like playing a first-person shooter and then in the cutscene showing something outside of your perspective, which happens a lot, I admit, in shooters, but still, it's just not good.
Yeah.
Bad.
So anyway, Little Pip gets found, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, yeah, I was listening to you, even though I was trying to not... Actually, what she said is that, I was just with Homage, doing the thing, that thing we do.
The place.
And then Homage comes out and says, Little Pip, what are you doing here? Were you trying to get in my room? And when I told you that you weren't allowed, and it's like, oh no, I've been trapped in lies and lies and lies.
What was it? Mark Twain said, telling a lie is difficult because you have to remember what you lied about. So,
but George Costanza said, it's only a lie, or it's not a lie if you believe it to be the truth.
Oh boy. Oh, what a tangled web of lies.
But anyways,
we choose to deceive.
The whole scenario gets explained. Little Pip is like, yeah, this is embarrassing. Yeah, this is how it happened. And, even after all these lies, they believe her. Because why not?
Or
they
they're
just understand
like,
her character enough.
They're just like, okay, we get it.
Listen,
shut up.
You mouth-breathing dweeb. Yeah, we get it. This is what you do. But anyway, so there's this whole thing where Little Pip is like, so what's going on with this? What's going on here? Aren't you concerned? Isn't this something we should be worried about? We're going to be in dangerous situations. This could be a problem. Your relationship.
Yeah.
And Little Pip finds out from Velvet Remedy and Calamity talking about it that they neither of them really seriously considered a relationship until Little Pip mentioned it to them.
We kept enforcing it effectively. Right. It's like, why are you two together? You two don't need to be together. And they're like, we were just hanging out. But I mean, now that we look at each other a certain way. Yeah.
You do have a P and I have a V and, again, horizontal monster mash. Yeah.
Yeah. And
start of a cheesy
think about it this way. They do match each other in a very archetypal fashion in that Calamity is very heavily invested in those that want to help the greater good. And Velvet Remedy is helps the greater good, even for the ill of all good.
Right.
So but it does work. And so they kind of mesh.
Yeah.
In bed. Like this. But yes. Demonetized!
only one of them is a
Not on my
Pegasus
Christian
pony.
YouTube.
Calamity has a very specific battle saddle he used specifically for lovemaking.
Would that mean that he's impotent?
It's a bending dildo battle saddle.
That seems like something that seems like something that Homage would have had. I mean, I'm gonna be honest.
Little Pip, are you ready for your punishment?
Oh, when it vibrates. How novel.
It's too much. Anyways, they reward Little Pip through their conversation of realization with some memory orbs that have to do with
Rainbow Dash. Specifically.
Yes, to have to do with Rainbow Dash. And Little Pip is asking, like, are these legitimate? Are they any good? And it was somebody that they had traded for. And they said, well, from what you said the last time, sort of good.
Yeah. I mean,
essentially,
the only person who can tell is Velvet Remedy, Homage, and Little Pip. And wasn't Calamity
I was going to say, and Velvet Remedy seems completely obsessed with a Fluttershy's orb. And just using that one over and over and over again.
She's got a little set of marks up her arm where she keeps injecting the memory orb.
Yeah, talk about addictions. They're giving Pip a hard time about the mentats, but Jesus Christ.
That was actually the point they brought up in that chapter, too.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
So, but it's all coming together. It's all coming together. And then you gotta spread that back apart so it can come together again.
Chekhov's anal prolapse.
But anyways, so where were we before we were talking about Goatsy?
Well, the
The
memory orbs.
memory orbs. So we have Rainbow Dash, we have Rarity, and Applejack, and they're all kind of together. And Rainbow Dash and Rarity was trying to... Rarity's very disheveled. She runs and she's trying to talk specifically to Rainbow Dash, and then Applejack shows up and she's like, well, shit, I don't want to talk to you. Or rather, like in her head, like there's things that she's talked about with Rainbow Dash that she can't talk about with Applejack because Applejack is honest and isn't good at keeping secrets.
No,
it's what makes her a great friend, but also makes her
a great political leader.
Yeah,
because effectively they become political leaders in the fact that they're ministry mayors. I mean,
right. And we also find out that they have not told Applejack about Zecora.
Yeah.
So she thinks Zecora is a traitor,
even
though the rest of them know that she's not.
Yep, can't do that.
Right. Again, she's just too honest. She just blab about it. But anyways, there is an attack on their lives with 3 ministry mayors there, and the solution to stopping the grenade is so it's a grenade that they're attacking.
Yes.
I should also say Rarity chucks out the black book on top of it, and it absorbs the blast.
Yeah, because like the Necronomicon, it can't be destroyed.
It can't be destroyed. And the pony apparently who threw the grenade is immediately atomized by by an auto turret, right?
Yep, by 2 magical auto turrets. In a similar animation,
remember Rarity's
to the
like,
first Fallout games, where it's just like zap, and then you see like the lightning go up their body, and they just turn to ash.
Well, I remember Rarity is like, well, how the fuck we can't interrogate people who are piles of ash? We're never going to find out. But anyways, of course it brings to light, like, what the hell is this? I thought you said you were going to destroy this. You okay? Yeah. And it's like, listen, I told you I'd set it on fire. Guess what? Didn't work. I also tried I had Spike try and burn it with dragon fire.
Yep.
And that didn't work. And apparently that caught Celestia's attention somehow.
Another point from the show, which is an important thing. Spike sends Twilight's letters to Celestia through Dragon's breath.
Okay. All right.
Enough of that.
But yeah, I was going to say, okay, so that makes a little bit more sense. I had a feeling that it was some weird Celestia was tuned in, or he had a magical ability.
Dragon magic is really weird.
But it's fire-based for the most part?
Something like that, yeah.
We also find out that in the war that Rainbow Dash, that the zebras were using dragons to fight.
Yeah.
And that Rainbow Dash lost a huge contingent of Pegasus ponies in that. Because shortly before the grenade attack happened, there were 3 older ponies. ponies are people too, but they're not people in this universe.
They're
Right?
included in people, because remember they say every person.
People's, yeah, all right, anyways. So there are 3 older ponies that are basically like, hey, these people that we knew and loved are dead because of you.
Hey, you remember the beginning to Captain America Civil War? Imagine that with less pathetic tear-jerking and more, oh, this is actually what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
And so pretty much that summarizes that memory orb.
Yep.
And then the next memory orb that we delve into is Little Pip before a tribunal, essentially. But from the Twilight Society?
Yeah.
Is that what they're
She
called?
wakes up from the memory orb, and she's in front of the Twilight Society.
The Twilight Society, yeah. And so these are the people that secretly run... Not such a good secret, by the way.
No. Well, when you're in a world where information just doesn't make any sense, and half of the things you hear are absolute bullshit, who knows? It could be anything.
But yeah, so the people who secretly run Tin Pony Tower have her there. Mm-hmm. And some of them are hooded, some are out of the light, can't really see, but it's like, she realizes who they are.
And then they say, guilty.
Yeah.
Guilty.
Essentially,
Guilty.
Little Pip is dangerous because she has all this knowledge, she's seen all their secrets, she's had access to all these things.
And she's a very... Danger follows in her wake.
And we kind of get into a little bit of the prequel trilogy of Star Wars with a lot of background politics going on in this scene. And it's just... It is what it is. You know, Homage is at this stalemate with the people, and, you know, she's granted special power.
This is the problem. Well, this is... Okay, it's not a problem insofar of the story, but if you think about it, more of a concept from a world space is the problem with going into anywhere that's established is that you have to get cash back up. And this is one of those finer details that you have to catch back up on. Mm-hmm. And either you lay breadcrumbs throughout, which can either hit or miss, or just completely seem out of place. It's like, oh, when Little Pip found this thing in this carriage, it's about how one of the ponies in the Tin Pony Tower actually didn't like the other one. It doesn't work. Yeah. It doesn't really work very well. Or you have to kind of do this expo dump, which is what they did.
It's a catch-up.
Yeah.
So essentially what it all boils down to is that they want access to Little Pip's memories.
Mm-hmm.
And Homage currently has Little Pip's memories.
Yep.
And Little Pip essentially agrees to give them access to her memories. But in exchange for Homage's safety and ability to continue to live in Tin Pony Tower.
Yeah.
Which they begrudgingly oblige, with the caveat being that as long as Homage has not been harboring Pip doing bad things, like she knew these things and hid them, that they would allow her to stay in the tower.
Yeah.
And fast forward a little bit when we actually go to the scene when Homage is going to turn over the memory orbs, she is removing them from her private safe because she does not want them to know where her private safe is.
Yep.
Which is smart.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Is there anything I'm forgetting about the tribunal?
No.
Okay.
So it's a lot of backdoor politics. It's a lot of happenstances and goings on, and laying some groundwork for what happens in the future, which is important.
Right.
I think as a point, I feel like at this point, sorry about that. I feel like at this point, kkat realized there was she had to kind of come out with this thing to make something later in the story work, and so this is I don't want to say it's a wedge, but it feels like that. Not that it feels out of place. It's just you're seeing the birth of something that happens later.
Right.
And I mean, you already know that from reading it. You can tell this is going to be important.
Absolutely. And also, something I don't want to forget, at some point in the chapter, Red Eye begins to pull his troops away from Tin Pony Tower.
Yep.
But I don't remember why.
Oh, won't it be fun to find out?
Yeah. Okay. So we didn't find out why.
Yeah.
All right. What else am I forgetting?
Well, second memory orb.
Right. That was.
She talks to Zenith, doesn't she?
Oh yeah. Well, they're talking about trying to mask Zenith. You know, changing her appearance, dyeing her fur, doing that sort of her pelt. I don't know.
It's like one of them. I mean, yeah, okay. It seems weird now. Obviously, then it was different, but it's like the most racist thing. It's like, here, black man, put on this white paint. You'll be fine.
Anyways, and they give her a dress, and then she's able to go out and actually sit at the same restaurants that she wasn't allowed to eat at before, and, you know, able to sit at the front of the bus.
What was that movie, White Chicks?
Yeah. God.
It's that, except in ponies. With
But reverse racism doesn't exist, so don't worry about it. But the second memory orb, I'm blanking for a moment.
Okay, so the second memory orb, they go back, and it's right when the war is about to begin, right when the war is about to be announced. They it's all their friends together,
yep.
and they're in
talking about having to go do diplomatic relations with the buffalo.
Mm-hmm. To strengthen their ties with Buffalo, and they're like,
and
why?
apparently Rainbow Dash had done something to fuck up.
Not quite. If I remember right, what happened was the Wonderbolts, which are this elite. It's like the Blue Angels.
Yes.
They had apparently been killed,
right.
maimed, slaughtered somehow, and so Rainbow Dash felt it necessary to join the force to take up the mantle because she loves the Wonderbolts. I mean,
right.
the Wonderbolts is her entire existence.
And the Wonderbolts are the ones that eventually become
Shadow Bolts.
Shadow Bolts.
Yes,
that's
the
right.
Shadow Bolts.
That's right.
Which is something that you also didn't know. The Shadow Bolts were a false figment from the second episode where Nightmare Moon attempts to take Rainbow Dash from the rest of the party by telling her, you could join us instead. The more powerful, darker, villainous version of the Wonderbolts.
Power!
And Rainbow Dash's like, nah.
Nah, I'm good.
So, yeah. Very quick turnaround. Obviously, you have to fit it into 23 minutes, and there's a lot to go over in the show, so that's why. But that's where the Shadow Bolts come from.
Gotcha. Okay,
they were a manifestation of Nightmare Moon to tempt one of the party members away.
Interesting. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then we also find out that Ditzy Doo was there.
Yep.
So, that's the perspective that we were seeing from.
Yep, Derpies.
Yeah, and that was that how does it end? Like, today was a good day.
Overall, we think today was a good day.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, the war's begun.
Yeah.
So there we are. So that's
the age of ponies is over. Now begins the age of, I guess, nuclear winter.
Yeah, nuclear winter. Yeah, of the zebra. Well, actually, they didn't have much of an age. Also, Zenith is super duper superstitious about Homage's gun.
Oh yeah,
the magical energy weapon.
Yeah, I'm not surprised because the stars. Now, this is something that they actually don't bring up in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Is the zebras, their relationship to the stars.
Right.
Now, it's talked about how the stars will aid in the escape of Nightmare Moon from her imprisonment by being literally, I think it was actually like imprinted into the moon, kind of like Shintoism, and that the stars aided in her escaping back out. And so I guess kkat built on that and said, well, okay, think about it this way. When you have nighttime in Equestria, the zebra lands, which are on the opposite side of the world, are burning to death, and all the crops are being destroyed. And it's whose fault is it? It's the Nightmare Moon.
That's right.
So we really don't want her back. Take her away.
Yeah. And
so they, again, grow on that, and they blame the stars for her coming back. So I think the stars have some type of omniscient...
Right. And Homage touches on this, with her own system. It's like, it's kind of like everyone's religion is half correct. There's elements of truth to the elements of harmony.
Yeah.
And that was chapter 32.
Very good chapter.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Chris, we've come to another special time in the episode, but unfortunately, we have to announce that though the Pony Pun of the Week was on vacation last week, came back to work this week and slipped and fell. Be
very careful around loading docks. Just gonna be honest, broke his shoulder,
slipped and fell. Yeah, and is currently collecting workman's comp. So, for now and for the short time. Well, you can't say that. We're gonna get sued. But the Pony Pun of the Week is currently on workman's comp and disability. So, prayers and thoughts are with the Pony Pun of the Week and their family.
I swear I saw him lifting an engine the other day.
Excuse you, that they prefer to be referred to as a they. So we don't need to get sued. All right, so the Pony Pun of the Week is not here, but we do have a listener question.
Yes, we have a listener question from kkat.
Show me a listener question.
kkat says, question for both Chris and Robert. Based on the story, what traits can you tell the characters have, and or what traits would you assign them?
Traits. So you're talking about like the game traits.
Yes, game traits.
All right. What's your idea?
Well, Calamity definitely has the what was it? Slow shot.
Idiot savant.
Yes. And oh goodness, what's it called? Bloody Mess.
Bloody Mess. Yeah.
Definitely Bloody Mess. I think Velvet may have Bloody Mess because she's got the shotgun. She definitely has the shotgun surgeon trait.
Who's Daddy's boy?
Oh goodness, do we have a Daddy's boy? I don't think so.
I don't think so. What's the one? Lady Killer. That's a good one.
Lady Killer. That'd be Homage. I'd want to say.
Or Zenith.
True.
Because that's whole Zenith's thing. Is like all the ponies want her, but they can't have her. She's so exotic. I'm trying to think of some of the other good ones from the game. Let's see here. What would suit Little Pip's sneak and lock picking abilities?
Well, the thief perk.
The thief perk, yeah, that's for sure.
Shadow running.
Yeah.
Definitely, because
the fact that she can walk in on somebody having sex and they don't hear her. I mean, that's pretty. I've also noticed at the end of the chapters we've reached the point where it's just like skill maxed. It doesn't even say the thing.
Yeah. Level up.
Yeah.
Level maxed out, yeah.
Yeah, there's no more room.
Which was, I guess, a takeaway from Fallout. Before they included Broken Steel, Fallout's level cap was, what, 20?
Yeah.
And so you could reach it pretty easily. And so you're kind of left over like, well, I guess I don't level up anymore.
Especially with exploits. I was watching somebody take advantage of an exploit of Fallout 4, and they got to level 100 in like an hour. It was an inventory glitch, essentially. But
yeah, they do that.
Thank you, Bugthesda.
Beautiful.
Also, thank you for those of you who've tuned into our Fallout 3 gameplay. I think there's still some confusion. Some people don't seem to understand. They think it's just Fallout 3, but it's Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas in one
TTW.
game. If
you have not looked up Tale of Two Wastelands, do it now. If you own both on the PC, it requires all DLC. And official versions, you do have to get them through Steam. I don't know if it actually works with non-official versions, but they say it does on the website, and I own both of them, so I ain't testing it without.
Right.
So check it out. Play it. It's fantastic. It actually has the gunplay from Fallout New Vegas, which was much better.
Yeah. Still buggy, but better.
Yeah. And with the I don't think anyone said the world space from Fallout New Vegas was better than Fallout 3 for exploration.
There's a lot of people who have. I was having a conversation with
No, I don't talk to those people.
Well, yes,
They're
that's true. You don't have to talk to those people. But I feel like you and I are in the minority of people who prefer.
Oh yeah. Well, there's a lot of people who also play Call of Duty.
Well, that is true, and Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
Don't buy that game. Don't do it.
I don't know why people still play EA.
Punish EA.
Just
punish
stop
them.
buying anything they make.
Did you see what it would actually cost to actually buy all the expansions, all the DLC?
Was it like $600?
Oh, it's a ton.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Also known as just down. Just down.
Go give that a wiggle just to make sure.
Wiggle.
Yeah, man. That hardcore professionalism that you have come to expect from the Foally of Man. So, you can always find us, if you're watching us, here on youtube.com/CriscoBrandBiscuits. You can also email us at cbpbch@gmail.com. Again, that's cbpbch@gmail.com. You can also find us at foalyofman.libsyn.com. And I think that's it.
That's all.
I mean, there's other places. Download the podcast on Google Play.
Which we didn't have for last episode.
That's right, yeah, because the audio was crap. I did not want our podcast listeners to have to listen to something that's bad as that.
I hate that we had to do that to you, but at the end of the day, you're just going to have to watch it. And I hate doing that because it's just...
Yeah, it's just whatever.
And of course, one day in the future, when this episode ceases to be, probably because YouTube finally goes under because they're incompetent as shit.
Demonetized.
We're gonna say in this episode, oh yeah, just check out the last one in the on YouTube, and they're gonna go, but YouTube isn't available anymore. It'll be dead. And we'll not have it anymore, and it'll be gone forever.
That is some kind of loyalty from our fans that you're expecting.
I think it'll just be somebody who comes in after the fact.
Yeah. Catching up at the last minute on everything.
Well, yeah, no, they're just like, oh, this is a cool thing, this is a cool thing, this is a cool thing. What? It's gone. It's gone!
I would like to welcome all of our new followers and listeners. Thank you very much. We're going to continue to do stuff. In fact, just a minute from now, we'll be doing the after show. But thank you for tuning in, and we're always open to comments. We have some really cool stuff planned for the future for the channel, including some other fan fictions. There's my teaser there.
Oh, yes.
So, for Chris... I'm Robert, and this has been The Folly of Man, where we stand up. Yeah, it's great.
Stand and deliver, kids. Stand and deliver.
So, what are you still doing here? Show's over.
Go home.
Bye.
It's all
I guess that's
over, but the crowd